before we proceed, I want to continue talking about the static keyword. What does it mean? Show some examples and help clarify this before moving to other concepts. So what does a static keyword mean? Well, what that means is that the properties or the methods that we can define as static that will belong to the class and not to the instance. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's do an example. So if we have here a method, let's call it say good morning. And we're not going to return anything, so we're going to say void. And then here we're just going to print system out that print line, good morning. Nothing out of this world, just to show that we can do something here, and this is not static, right? This is not static. So what we could do is, in order to do this, right, how could we invoke this? How can we say, hey, go ahead and say good morning? Well, if we try doing this, and by the way, I don't, I'll just comment this out for now, so we don't need this. In fact, it won't run because we're not going to pass any arguments, but if we want to say something like say good morning, we should see that this is going to fail. In fact, we're already getting a red bar here. What does that say? Non-static method saying good morning cannot be referenced from a static context. So what does that mean? That means that if we try to run this, we're going to get an issue. Why? Because we need an instance in order to be running it. We need an instance, or it needs to be static. So in this case, let's go ahead and create the instance so that we see what does that mean. What that means is that we need to say, go ahead and create ed testing. Ed test is going to equal a new main class, right? And that's this main class that we have here. So let's have that of type main. So it'll be ed test. Then we can say ed test. Go ahead with dot notation and invoke the say good morning method. And so this is what we mean by creating a new instance of this class. And I have this handle to the instance. And now we can say, using dot notation, I can say, hey, go invoke this say good morning method, which is down here, right? So if I ran this, we'll see that everything runs, and that is not a problem. We'll see here, hello and good morning. Hello world is from up top. Good morning is from right here. Now, what can we do if we didn't want to make this, right, a new instance, right? If we didn't want to make that new instance, what we could say to good morning is we can say, let's make it static. And then what we would need to do is just go ahead and invoke it. Go ahead and invoke this. And if we ran this, you can see we don't get an issue. It'll run good morning. So again, static means we don't need a new instance of the class in order to get to the method or to the property. It belongs to all the instances, right? It belongs to the class. So any instance, which is an object of that class, of course, is going to share this and have this in common. So that's the main idea behind static, and I'm mentioning that because we started talking about the public static void main, this signature, right, for this method, which is the entry point to the program, and we noticed that it had static. Now we know what that means. We're not going to get fooled by that. In some later video, we'll talk about public and private and some of the access modifiers, but at least we can get rid of this static keyword and what is meant by it. Hope this helps.